We have been studying the techniques for continuous improvement, and it's become obvious that these techniques are all interrelated to making our factory competitive. But it also should have become obvious that the most important ingredient behind any of these techniques is people. Everybody must be a significant contributor to the progress. Techniques or systems may make it possible, but only people can make it happen.
Because without people, you can't accomplish anything. And we've been doing a lot in the way of training people, involving people, developing teams, educating people, increasing knowledge levels. And it's not just people that report to us, it's ourselves.
Rather than having an overburdened management and staff, what we want is a situation where people are in many ways self-controlled. Management skills and problem-solving skills should not be monopolized by a selected group of people. For this to develop, we want to introduce techniques which everybody can understand and practice, and to provide an environment where common sense can play a key role. Top management should then focus on eliminating barriers within the organization and encourage everyone to serve both their internal and external customers. By applying user-friendly techniques, we can eliminate barriers which block communication, coordination, and cooperation. As we have seen, inventory on the shop floor, as well as paper inventory in the office, may be a target ripe for elimination. Certainly, the change may be painful, especially for those who cling to the past. Some may be concerned about losing control and creating chaos in the process of delegating responsibility. Yet, only by expanding everyone's skills and developing the flexibility to change can we move forward.
So the results are really very significant. We've had a lot of progress. They're not really good enough. We're continuing. It's not time to sit back and say we have it made, nor is it time for American industry to sit back and say we can't compete. We can compete. It's an ongoing need to compete, and the capabilities are there. With good manufacturing processes continually improved, with good supplier processes continually improved, there's absolutely no reason why this country can't be a leading manufacturing competitor in the world.
In order to encourage the necessary changes, managers and supervisors must provide guidance, along with the means to educate and train their employees.
Acerca de el sistema este del Ken Ben, y la tarjeta te señala toda la información que necesitas tú saber.
These ideas help us to improve most of the problems that we have. As you know,
at Borg Warner Automotive, for example, each unit of the organization is developing its own mission statements. People study who their customers and vendors are, then develop a plan of action for accomplishing their departmental goals.
We're trying to create a consistency of purpose that's going to acknowledge to everyone that this is what we're about, and this is how we're going to go about it, and that would be in the business plan. Okay, so for the mission statement, we're just trying to create a consistency of purpose and an understanding and awareness of everybody having a chance to get involved and find out, include in our mission statement what they think we should be doing.
The role of frontline supervisor is especially important since they are closest to where the action is, as well as where most of the improvements are made. In many ways, they should be considered the president of their work area, as they have the most detailed knowledge of what actually goes on there.
When we develop cells, we get our entire crew together and we sit around a table and we just sit down and we talk for an hour or 2 hours and talk about the cells and what they should look like. We ask how the product's built, what we can do in order to make it easier to build it, and we just write down every idea, bad, good, indifferent. We don't judge an idea, we just talk about it, and it's something that our entire force gets involved in, and we end up with a real good product when we're through.
Because of the importance of their role, there are 7 basic points for supervisors to keep in mind. Also, operators, support staff, and managers need to understand these points so that they can contribute their share. 1. Control the basics of QCDSM, that is, quality, cost, delivery, safety, and morale in your workplace. Always bear in mind that meeting production goals is not the only thing that supervisors should be concerned about. 2. Always observe the workplace objectively. Identify problems as much as possible and strive to make improvements. If something is not quite right, don't give up easily. Search for a solution by asking why several times. Concentrate and observe problems for 10 minutes or even an hour. Always talk with the operators and ask their help. 3. Develop your skills for understanding subordinates and do all you can to guide, coach, educate, and train them to enhance their capabilities. Let's not only acquire problem-solving skills, but develop interpersonal skills as well. 4. Always think from the broadest viewpoint possible. Search for the true cause of problems and take the time to use your best judgment. Remember, you are the president of your areas of responsibility. Think in terms of what are the things that you can do to run your business and satisfy your customers. 5. Develop good human relations and try to develop a workplace where everybody can work in harmony. Taking pride in your work and promoting teamwork are the foundations of producing the highest quality products. 6. Be capable of showing others how to perform all job functions in your area. And remember that people learn primarily by example, so be ready to set a good one. First, describe the major steps. Second, show the key points to remember. And third, explain the reasoning why things are done a specific way. Instructions should be clear, concise, and yet not so detailed that the learner has difficulty mastering the task. Remember to do this patiently until the learner can do the job on his or her own. And lastly, 7. Develop the mental flexibility to address necessary changes. Plus, learn and experiment with new concepts and techniques for improvement. Moving forward always has change associated with it. Like it or not, that's the only way we can progress. And more often than not, there is a great deal of satisfaction associated with coming up with new ideas. While the role of supervision is important for accomplishing all of these points, people in the work area should be free to help improve the situation as well. They should be encouraged to voice their concerns with supervisors and managers and try to learn more skills. After all, improving one's skills is the surest way to secure one's job, as well as improve the company's competitive position in the industry. When we practice this, managers and supervisors are often surprised to find that their people can play a much more substantial role. The process takes time and patience, however, and success will depend on the level of commitment by both management and the people within the organization. Here are some examples of how companies are getting people to be more involved and take more initiative.
Using the plan, do, check, action cycle and going through that step, we were able to develop business planning. First of all, doing the check part, we looked at the history and seen what we were not accomplishing in achieving self-imposed goals. We looked at a mission statement and developed those mission elements that we felt were important to our operation. Of course, we had to look at customers. We had to look at both external customers as well as internal customers. And we developed customer relationships so that we could determine how those fit together with our mission statement. This allowed us as a manufacturing organization to take it down into each of the functions in manufacturing so that each member could do business planning for his group. They were able to do mission statements and customer relationships in their organization. This allowed us to have the vision and to take our organization and pass on that vision to each of the members in our organization. This, of course, resulted in different people progressing at different rates. Many times through the process, personally, I questioned whether we were making the progress that I wanted to achieve. At various times, I would remember the statement concerning the stonecutter, and I realized that it was not any single item that made the accomplishment, but it was the continuous process of working and seeing that we were making progress that was continuous progress. This is looking like a sawtooth, sometimes making great achievements of increase, but other times slight decreases, but continuous in an upward fashion. I've seen many of our members helping each other in that progress, where one person had a stumbling block, another person could show how he made progress by achieving progress in his area and overcoming those stumbling blocks. Of course, what we want to be able to do is to take this progress in the future in our organization. And looking into the future, we see moving into cross-functional team relationships will allow an interrelationship among all departments, seeing how each of those need help from each other to achieve the critical success factors that we have established for our organization is important. This helps us to make that continuous progress.
I think one of the key points to our success has been that we're able to work with our teamwork environment. We're able to get a team of people, a cross-functional team, such that we have production people working with engineers, working with production planners and schedulers, all together to be able to implement, say, a just-in-time process. And what we need to do to achieve our objectives here is to have a common goal for everybody to buy into and agree, such as reduce cycle time or improve our inventory levels. And once we have those common goals described, we can go ahead and develop strategies to achieve those goals. One of them may be to implement just-in-time, as we've done in this factory. At that point in time, everybody can work on their part of the implementation plan to achieve that common objective. That's one thing that's proved to be very successful here. In addition, we want to set up measures for each of the strategies so that we can track the progress of each of the subgroups that's going to contribute to that overall success and objective of reducing cycle time, for example. So every little group in the production floor has a tiny piece of that. They need to understand how their measures track and how they're helping to achieve the big picture goal, and also how the interactions of the group need to be sort of finely tuned to enable the whole overall goal to be achieved.
Having looked at all this, the last thing we must recognize is that it's not enough to grasp an idea intellectually if our hearts are not into practicing it with determination and perseverance. For this reason, we need to think about the following 7 points on developing a favorable culture for continuous improvement. 1. Challenging conventional beliefs, for without challenge, there can be no progress. 2. Bias toward experimentation. Only by actually trying new ideas will various problems become known. 3. Tolerate failure. Improvement requires a great deal of patience. 4. Trust. Improvement can never be tied to layoffs.
We basically guarantee in our facility that no one will be laid off for any productivity improvements.
5. Teamwork. Total optimization rather than local optimization. 6. Flexibility. Rigid structures limit progress.
We think it would be better if that supplier co-located with us right on our shop floor. And, we will get around the peculiar obstacles that are usually attendant to that, like insurances and compensations and things of that nature. Those things can be worked out through common sense, and those are the things that we've been looking at over the last couple of years that that have enabled us to do things a little bit differently in our company.
And last but not least, discipline. We must establish and stick to our standards.
Well, we are almost at the end of our program, and we are discussing people-related issues, which I think are the most difficult and yet maybe the most important issues. What's your opinion, Kiyo?
I think so. No matter how modern the equipment is and advanced the technologies are, those are of little value if we do not have the capability to use them. We talked about the 7 wastes at the beginning of this program, and we added the 8th waste of not utilizing people's potential talent. Perhaps the largest waste we have in a factory is this waste.
Well, then how do you eliminate this waste of not using people's potential talent?
By education and management appropriate leadership so that people's capabilities are upgraded.
And we need to have motivation.
Yes, I think competitive forces are the one big factor to help us get motivated.
This, I assume, is for survival.
Sure. And also because of our optimistic thinking and challenging spirit that says we won't give up easily, even after many defeats.
What about the process of people involvement?
In general, the people involvement process starts with managers providing tools or techniques so that people can practice them. Then provide a supportive environment so that people are encouraged to use these tools or techniques. And once progress is made, the next step is to provide a means to share the result. This is not only to give recognition to those who made the progress, but also to share ideas with other people so that they can also benefit from the achievement. And when this is done, then we can go back to provide more tools or techniques, or to expand into other areas to keep this cycle going.
So going through the cycle of plan, do, check, action is an example of doing this, isn't it?
That's right. Even though it is not necessarily an easy process to develop the cycle because of our mindset and the way we did our business. But with commitment, you may eventually find the power of people and be amazed by it. For example, I remember a manager who was a few years from retirement said to me that, "I wish I knew this 15 years ago. Now I have only a few years left before retirement to practice all of these great ideas."
And what a difference it might have made. Thank you, Kiyo.
Somehow I think we're not finished yet. We've only just begun, just kind of reached the tip of the iceberg, because people is the very important part of our business. And without people, you're just not going to improve.
Improvements are in a way like inventions. If we are motivated and persistent enough to believe that we can accomplish something, then we will realize our dream. History has proven this over and over. It is a challenge to established structures, assumptions, old systems, and habits. It is having an imagination for the future and optimistic thinking that will keep us moving forward. In the 1920s, Henry Ford said, "Thinking always ahead, thinking always of trying to do more, brings a state of mind in which nothing is impossible. The moment one gets into the expert state of mind, a great number of things become impossible." In the 1970s, Taiichi Ohno said, "By actually trying, various problems became known. As such problems became gradually clear, they taught me the direction of the next move." As these words describe, it is the humbleness and challenging spirit of all the people which helped us to move forward. We must never stop questioning, never stop challenging, and we should develop an attitude for continuous improvement and act upon it.
The beauty of it is that manufacturing is the most exciting part of the operation. You've got to worry about suppliers, you've got to worry about customers, you have to worry about automation, you have to worry about people. Manufacturing always, until the end of time, regardless of the degree of automation and artificial intelligence advances, will be a people-oriented business.